for help. Please help me spread my name and face across the state of Louisiana. That seems to be the best way for me to avoid this charge, this state charge of 14108, where the police can charge you if they don't know you. So I have to fight to be known in Louisiana, and apparently there's other states too like that I need to learn about. But my biggest concern right now is Louisiana. I need to be known. All right, that's just, I mean, a part of the culture is to be known. So you fight to do that. You fight for recognition. You fight for just to be known, to just, yeah, for recognition. So I mean, and I'm competing against everybody else. So this is that's what the state is about, is competing to be known. All right, there's other people that may want to be known, but I ask you to ignore those people and focus on me. All right, I need to be known, because that's how the culture is. That's called the good old boy culture, where people know each other. I noticed you are known in UK. All right, well, that doesn't help me. Um, oh man, I just lost my train of thought. Thanks to everything you do. Oh, thank you, thank you for being witnesses, and I hope to intimidate you soon. I hope I hope to intimidate all my witnesses uh, any soon. If we could ever meet, I'd be happy to meet and intimidate my witnesses, and then we can exchange IDs. We first exchange IDs, and then I get a chance. Then you give me a chance to intimidate you. Um, it's what was I gonna say now? It's kind of hot in here. So I want recognition, and I don't care about other people getting recognition, because that's the culture. It's the good old boy culture. And I noticed that mentioning names, if you mention a name, very bad storm headed your way in the next couple of days. Yeah, I saw that. That was supposed to be like today. What is? Let me. I don't have the best connection. I'm surprised this connection actually is working. I'm a pretty good distance away from the library. Um, yeah, there's supposed to be a storm coming in, and it's been hot in the 80s. My best way to deal with it is using my fans. This is my best solution. I also got to keep the camera cool too. I had to run a fan on this camera right here. Um, when I was processing my 360 video from the city council meeting yesterday. So this records 360, and then to process that, I gotta stitch it on this Samsung S9. I bet the newer cameras probably handle the business better. Maybe don't get as hot, or do it a little bit faster. Okay, yeah. All right, I'm connected. Yeah, it's supposed to. The rain's coming, but I noticed when I mention names, you're coming in clear here. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's not. It hasn't been breaking up. It's been. I tried to connect my GoPro 10. All right, but it wouldn't. It's got a Wi-Fi. It can pick up a Wi-Fi signal, but I wasn't able to hear. But I would have been live streaming on my GoPro 10 instead. But I'm just too far away from the Wi-Fi signal. But I noticed if you mention names in Natchitoches, you say, "Let me talk to Lieutenant Walker," or just you ask for specific names. You don't ask for titles, and they are very much more responsive when you mention names. You mentioned names. 30 officers. Yeah, I got 30 officers watching this live stream right now, and I'm asking for recognition. Like,
LA 107, just north of Gates and Catfish.
what's
466 Echo Charlie Uniform. 466 ECU. White Lexus SUV.
what's the best way to get recognition in Louisiana? I need to get my face and name out there so that I have a defense against 14108 B1C or something, so that they can't charge me. I'll just be like, hey, I'm making you I put an effort into making you guys aware of who I am, and if you want to charge me with failure to ID, well, then I'll go back to my defense saying I actually today I emailed all the sheriffs, all 99% white sheriffs. There's about 40 counties in the state, and there's a website where you can get all their emails. There's only like 3 or 4 that don't have emails.
1097 here, City PD.
So I emailed them all.
And the mileage is going to be 464.
So,
46499. I'm sorry.
let's see. Maybe we can. I'd have to take off. No, I can't. It's about to show the screen, but that's not. It's not easy. Let me see if that's possible. Oh, I could turn. Maybe I could turn. Let's see. Nah, that ain't. I got some kind of. What is that in the way? Oh, I didn't realize. Okay, that would be in the way. All right. Okay. Well, whatever. So I'm taking it one thing at a time. The best defense is a good offense. It's about getting recognized. You want people to know who you want. The cops. It doesn't matter who else knows you. It's the cops, because nobody else can charge you with 14108 failure to ID. Nobody else can charge you with that but the cops. So you want to compete. I have to compete against everybody else. Yeah, okay. Yeah, rob a bank, do something illegal. There you go. Well, I'd like to avoid jail. I mean, I'm looking at being recognized just walking around a library. I saw that grackle question, and it's unfortunate. There's no grackles in Louisiana. There's no big tail grackles. If the cops are watching, please make a radio call and give Travis a shot. Yeah, call me in on the radio. That would be a real good message. But I need to be known. Like I'm trying to look forward. I'm trying to give a positive look at this. Run a notice in the newspapers that I want to be positive about this, because it's like, okay, there's a problem here, all right, that the state is having with the people, and that is recognition. Okay, they want everybody. The cops want everybody to identify themselves on command, it's seemingly at random. So, how do you be forward thinking in that? And yeah, date the sheriff. But I mean, I want to pass through several counties. I'm trying to be a traveler here. Yeah, I could just try to be recognizable in this county, but I want to move, because this isn't it's getting hot. This isn't the best county to be in the summertime, for me at least. So it's this is about a situation where I want cops to say, "Oh, I know who you are." It's, you see that. It's like a cop approaches you for the first time, and they can hold that law against you, that they don't recognize you. They can actually literally, oh man, they can actually literally use a law that they don't recognize you against you. But they can only do that once. Each cop can do that once, because say if they they ran it to you a month later, then you could say your defense, you'd actually have a legal defense saying, hey man, we met a month ago, you ran my name, you know who I am. All right, that's, you have a defense there. It's a it's a one time, or if you went to school together, it's like there's, yeah, slap someone on stage, yeah, I got to do something that really gets people's attention. I gotta like, I don't know if you watch Alex Stein now. This guy has gotten a lot of attention for going to city council meetings and talking about topics that don't really seem to have anything to do with the city specifically, more national issues that he brings into the city. But I mean, it's relevant. He's getting a lot of attention that way. We all have to compete against each other for the attention of cops. All right, so they recognize this and can't charge us with these failure to ID laws. It's like, okay, if I want to be more positive, if I want to be more proactive with that, then I want to alert everybody to my presence ahead of time, and then I have my defense set in court. It's an easier defense to set up, and I'll admit, when I came here in January 22nd, it was a few days since I left Monroe. I stopped in a couple of cities in between, and I mean, you see that on my channel. I recorded some other cities in between Monroe and here. Monroe being on the northern border, and I had the incident with the two cops.
Across the street from NSU. This is going to start being part of our territory at night.
Right. Yeah, the two cops that stopped me in the library parking lot in Monroe, and they were trying to ID me, and I declined, and they were wrestling with what to do about that, and then they just let it go. But unlike here, but I left Monroe, and you know, people knew at the time, people knew that I was in Monroe, so I was quiet about where I was going from Monroe. I didn't want to really, I don't particularly like announcing where I'm going. All right. Somebody washed their backpack. I generally just try to stay quiet about where I'm headed to, but having done that, it was a couple of days since people found out I was in Monroe, Louisiana, on this channel. Just whatever, just kind of an awareness thing.
Made statements to students that his spouse was undergoing COVID treatments for something in Shreveport, and laying a sad story on him, getting money out of him.
Getting money out of them. So I came here not telling anybody. I came to Natchitoches not telling anybody, and then disappeared for 4 days while I sat in jail, and nobody had a clue because I'm not announcing to anybody. I don't have anybody close that I tell where I'm going. I don't tell everybody on the social media where I'm going. I just go there and check out the place, mind my own business usually, and so when I got arrested, I didn't have time to get on the internet. All right, I saw the cops in the parking lot. I'm like, I better start recording. At the first thing is start recording. I didn't have enough time to get onto the internet. I don't even know how it worked because every library is different. So I focused on getting on camera first, and I figure, what the heck, well, I did this camera, but also I wanted a backup camera in case they tried to do something with this camera, like, oops, like, imagine, these people are so dirty. I used 3 cameras. Imagine if I only used one camera. It might have been, oops, sorry, it broke somehow. we accidentally dropped it and stepped on it. Your camera phone is broken. Sorry about that. Guess you don't have any video to share with people. But I had 3 cameras, so they couldn't quite use that. Oops, sorry, your 3 cameras got broke accidentally. Oops, nope, not with 3 cameras. Not with the laptop, my phone, and the GoPro 7. They couldn't quite do that. And these people are so dirty. I swear, they're I swear that cops are firing off half the rounds. Oh, Swan Villain's trying to spread. Not everybody appreciates my methods, but I'm making calls to Natchitoches every day still. How do you keep the motivation going to do that? I mean, my motivation is that I want this over with. It's it's on me. It's a heavy burden on me. But for other people, I don't understand how other people could be motivated to try to reason with Natchitoches on this issue. I mean, we all relate to each other on these similar issues, ID issues, cops abusing their authority. I suppose you guys can understand that. I kind of feel alone though, in this respect, but I understand that there's people who say, who can empathize with the same situation. So, nope, no lawyers. Nope, I actually went today to the public defender, and there once again the door was locked. So I don't know. I was gonna record on this little thing. Oh, this ain't gonna show up well, is it? Let's see. Can't. Yeah, it's got the thing I don't like about this little camera. First of all, it fell out of my pocket when I just bent over to go up a hill. But also, it's easy to turn on the flashlights. This little silly. This is the on and off button, and it's so easy to just accidentally hit that and turn the light on. That's kind of annoying with this little spy camera. And then yeah, the cards right there. And also one thing that's kind of neat is this thing is magnetic, so I can attach it to the roof. That's where I grabbed it from. I got a little metal spot there that you can attach it to metal, so I could put it on like the side of my car and record. But I mean, I use the 360. 360 is a little bit better than the spy camera. Whenever a cop stops by my car, I go for this, turn it on, and on the roof of the car it goes like a cop putting a light. Maybe a investigator or a undercover cop want to turn their car into a instant patrol vehicle or whatever. I make mine an instant camera vehicle. Get a better angle that way.
Exactly. Parking lot of battery warehouse.
And I got a pretty good angle just at the city council. I didn't even have it on the stand. This 360 camera just stands on its own. Here's the Deal sounds like a familiar name. It's kind of tall, so it stands on its own high enough where it could see over a little bit better than this low hanging necklace. That's the thing. Even inches count, because this is kind of a low-hanging camera here, down almost at the bottom of the rib cage. I mean, it's about where cops have theirs. Theirs are slightly above, and I noticed on the last city council meeting that this was so low you couldn't even see over the podium. So I was gonna go in with this little spy cam. Well, I brought the spy cam at least, because it's just slightly higher. You know, inches count sometimes when you got to see over certain things. So having this just a little bit higher than the GoPro offers an advantage. But I only relied on the 360 camera. Just put it on the table and let it sit, and it just records. And then I go into the app and choose which angles I want at whatever time. It's not quite a science. I was actually choosing where to point the I don't even know how you describe editing with a 360. Just I choose kind of a random angles. I choose random angles and just went with that. It was an art. I was practicing an art. So it would have been kind of nice to have a stand for this, but the thing is, you know, I got a nice stand. I could have walked in to the city council. Let me take this off again. I could have walked into the city council with this thing, this big unit, but I don't know. Like, is that appropriate? I mean, I think it'd be okay. I mean, the first city council I was at, I had that camera guy just shooting a ton of pictures of me. High Impact Flicks. That's the same account of oh man, I'm so bad at he's got 2 channels. Well, here's the deal. Yeah, here's the deal in High Impact Flicks. That's the same guy. This stand I could have gone into the city council with and then quickly set up on the stand, but I mean, would that have been appropriate? Would it have been okay to just set this up on the podium and record myself? I'm not sure. I wanted to make it a minimal. I wanted to minimize the attention of the camera and put focus on my message of the city trying to get a protective order against me. The city, in the 2 months I've been here, tried to legally do a protective order. A protective order that is a code of civil procedure, not criminal. So that was a civil claim, like not a lawsuit. They filed a civil suit. That's so because they did that. That's not in my prosecutor's purview to file civil suits. Thank you, Katie Cox. Keep fighting, Travis. You're copying well, and you have a lot of support following from New Zealand. Yeah, I've seen a few people from who say they're from New Zealand. I appreciate the exposure, but I'm looking for attention in Louisiana. I gotta get some recognition in Louisiana so that so that the rest of my time here I won't get harassed by cops about them not knowing who I am. All right, I wanna let everybody know who I am in Louisiana. And it's about as good. It's about as valuable as all the time and effort I've put into learning Louisiana law. I'm looking for recognition, and I'm trying to learn the law, and as soon as I can get case closed, that's it. I got to erase all of that. It no longer matters. As soon as this case is closed, I don't care about Louisiana law, and I don't care who knows me in Louisiana, because I'll be out, and I don't ever intend to come back to Louisiana. But for right now, it's extremely important, and I probably shouldn't have said what I said. But yeah, I wanted to have a minimal impact at this city council meeting. I'm not pulling an Alex Stein. I'm sure people will know who that guy is when he goes and puts on a show at the city council. And it's just hilarious because he's very emotional and entertaining, and you just watch these city council members sitting there not moving an inch, staring at him. They don't look entertained at all. But I mean, looking at it from the outside, just watching it on video, it's very entertaining to see that and that's how it is at all city council meetings. And you can bring your own camera. I did. I mean, you can create content for your channel by going to city council meetings and talking about I think local issues. People can relate to in other cities to the local issues, but he chose he's going more the InfoWars route, and well the more the high impact flicks, the more here's the deal route, looking at more national issues, and that could people can relate to the national issues more. That's why high impact flicks and his Here's the Deal channel are more successful than mine, because I focus on local stuff. I don't really care about talking about national issues. It's just, it seems like it's repeated so much to me that it's, from what I hear, it's enough. And I'm happy just listening to those national issues a little bit, getting familiar with it. And thank you, High Impact Flicks. Much love to you. Your approach and your work is appreciated, guys. If you're able to support, okay, yes, for support. Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm not trying to do a money drive here, because I'm still being prosecuted. I'm still a defendant in a criminal case here, and I could be facing witness intimidator or even trespassing. I'm facing jail, 6 months in jail over my ID. So this is nothing I'm trying to profit from, even though they're profiting from my case, charging by the hour. How many paychecks has the prosecutor gotten since January 22nd in his process of prosecuting me? How many paychecks has the judge gotten? And everybody supports the clerks. They've gotten their weekly paychecks, and I'm and it's just an everyday thing for them, and I'm just trying to make enough to eat and support myself. I'm wearing the same shirt. I was looking at buying a new shirt, just a new shirt here, and Walmart doesn't sell any long sleeve shirts, so I've been sticking with like the same shirt. The shirts, and this is local issue stuff, with shirts and washing clothes. You got to buy some kind of a card. I have to pay $1 for a card. I don't know. Oh my God, ferment jars. All right, thank you, Chad Oliver. I'm done with ferments. Those are hard on the throat. But I appreciate your donation too. Thank you. I'm not. Yeah, I don't want to ask for any financial help. With the people mentioned the lawyer situation, and I'll go tomorrow to the public defenders again and see what happens with that. See if they're even in the office. I showed up at 9:30. Maybe tomorrow I'll try to shoot for more noontime or something. So, you created your estoppel. Estoppel, man, I'm so bad with definitions. I've heard that word many times before. Estoppel. Yeah, IDs. You can ID in more than one way, and I didn't. I mean, it takes time to pull out the pad and pencil. Let me just think this through. It takes time to pull out the pad and pen, and thank you, Bill McConnell. That's very generous of you too. It takes time to pull out the pad and pen for the cops, if they even carry it. And I would love to ask them that on the stand, but I don't want to be accused of badgering the witness, so I'm going to hold back. Thank you, Zapt and Kaboom. I appreciate that. So just there's questions that I'd love to ask the cops on the stand that I can't. I have to just stick with the three major issues, and that is reasonable articulable suspicion, and detainment, and the librarians giving. Did the librarians give a tip No, they did not. The librarians only called for service. So there's three things there. The librarians call for service, the no reasonable articulable suspicion, and the detainment. These are three topics that I don't think my prosecutor is gonna to narrow in on that. I think he's just gonna throw things all over the place, try to even bring in the librarian to talk about thinking I look like I had guns in my bags. And so I have to sit back and just object. But the thing is, I don't know exactly how to object. Somebody said, object, I object, and I leave it to the court to decide what is appropriate. What objection, I leave it to the court to decide what is the appropriate objection. Speculation, that is speculation, that's true. I need to write them down and then just, because I understand irrelevant, all right, because we're only sticking with three things. The librarian's call, reasonable articulable solution, reasonable articulable suspicion, and the detainment, which I say there's no detainment, I say there's no reasonable articulable suspicion, and I say there's no tip. All right, a lot of my prosecutors' arguments are that they're tips, and in these court cases, these tips were let me look up estoppel first. These tips, the cops actually took the time to watch the people who were no internet. Great, yeah, I'm in a bad spot. The cops took like a day for Hibble. It was Hibble or one of those. The tips given after the fact. Well, the librarian called and she said I was weird, checking doors, walking around. That's not a tip. All right, there's tips. All right, these it sounds like the law enforcement's trying to define all calls as tips. That's the angle they're taking. Every call is a tip. So Hibble applies. Hibble applies, and I think it's HIIBELL, something like that. So all calls are being marketed as tips in the courtroom. This is a marketing plan that they're working with, and so I have to resist that. I have to object to them defining this call as a tip and say that, and even the cops admitted. I mean, that goes without saying. That goes with support too. That goes with support. The cops are saying we got a call for service. Imagine if they came in and said we got a tip that some guy's casing the library. We got a tip. So they already had said that it was a call for service, but then the prosecutor ramps it up and says tips are enough probable cause or reasonable articulable suspicion. A tip, comparing this library call, and everybody's heard it. I've taken down that 911 call because my prosecutor complained about it, saying that I identified the librarian who called. Maybe I could put it back up and just, when I looked at it, I don't even see her name. Actually, I did redact her name from my descriptions and all that, but I took down the whole video. But maybe I could put it back up, just as long as she's not named. But she might have given her name in the video, which I might have to go through that again. But just a tip. This library call, and I'm looking at the library. It's to my right. As I'm still coming back here, I got nothing better to do. I got nowhere to go except to discuss this case. This library call is compared to tips, to drug trafficking tips, other felony tips. My call is compared to that. by my prosecutor. He made those arguments, and it's that's the thing. You get the most out of your prosecutor when you file motions to dismiss, motions to suppress evidence, and even the bill of particulars. You file those, you get the most out of your prosecutor. You'll learn what their problem is. All right, and they responded. They want to quash. Oh, I don't. This one actually, I got my best. Yeah, I got my best response from my prosecutor. That really shows where he stands on this. Thank you, Rick Hindman. Hinman. What's the difference between a tip and a call? Let me just look at that. A call is technically a tip. Yeah, okay, that's a cop definition. That's what cops want. They want to say all calls are tips now. So you have to set them straight on that. So I got my best response from. He pulled over a UPS truck. Is the city of Natchitoches motion to quash defendant's motion to quash as it relates to improper admission of facts not in evidence? See, this is my prosecutor arguing that we can't bring in any facts. He can't bring in any facts. Nobody could bring in any facts. The court says we don't have any facts. We got to go to trial to get facts. So it's quite a different approach to the legal procedures in Louisiana. You can't bring in facts. They can't bring in facts. The court hasn't accepted any facts. Got to do a trial. There's no other way. We can't have pre-trial motions. They don't exist. There's pre-trial motions are non-existent, I guess. Apparently they really, I think I read that felonies allow pre-trial motions, but not misdemeanors. There's a lot going on with these smaller crimes where they're really putting people at a disadvantage. Other states are like, any crime, any jail time means that you should be allowed a free lawyer and a jury trial. Not in Louisiana. You can't have pre-trial motions for misdemeanors. You can't have a free lawyer, which I'll confirm that because I really haven't. People have said that. So you can't have pre-trial motions. You can't have a free lawyer that I know of right now, and you can't have a jury. So those three things right there: no pre-trial motions, no lawyer, no jury. Those three things with misdemeanor cases, and then you gotta deal with the city judge too. They put you at a big disadvantage. You're at the mercy of this judge's personality. It's been quite a learning experience. Yeah, without a jury, the prosecutor or judge can't say whatever they want. They're just gonna shoot spitwads at the wall and look for things that stick. Let's see, Charles, why they did not or were offered a pre-trial conference, procedural. All right, yeah, we've had pre-trial conferences. I don't think that we're gonna have any kind of mediation before the trial either. It sounds like we're just gonna all jump right into it on the 11th. There's at least like some kind of a mediation. The judge will say, "Have you guys agreed to anything?" Well, my prosecutor's made it clear he doesn't want to talk to me outside of court of record. So there's no chance at pre-trial mediation. So he's made his best arguments on on a secondary motion. He made his second best arguments on my motion to dismiss, which I guess yeah, I don't have any dates. I don't know which came first. Yeah. he made his defendant failed to provide his name in connection with an investigatory detention conducted by officers who had reasonable suspicion. So he made his response. His best responses came from their motion to quash my motion to dismiss, where he states, I failed to provide my name because I was being investigated as the officers had reasonable suspicion. And then they had reasonable suspicion to stop me, and then they developed probable cause over my name. That's their argument. That's what I'm facing, and it doesn't look so good. Yeah. What was the reasonable suspicion? Well, they say I was casing the library and checking doors, and so I have to attack the reasonable articulable suspicion, because I gave them probable cause over my ID. But when the prosecutor asked, did I deny giving my ID, I have to object, because it's like, I didn't say no. I didn't say no, I'm not giving you ID. I didn't say no ID. I said that you have no crime. All right. I didn't say I'm not giving you ID. I wasn't, but they would call that resisting. But so that would have to be the prosecutor's better question, was he resisting to identify himself? And that's where the cop could say yes. So that would be his better question there to help the prosecutor's case. But yeah, his better answers came when motion to quash as it relates to improper admission of facts. So we were attacking each other over facts, and so I have no idea. Well, I have a pretty good idea. This is the fact. It's a simple case. So really, just sticking with the simple argument, he says, well, but it's not that simple though. That's the thing. It's failure to provide my name in connection with. See, he's saying I failed to provide, when really he should be saying I resisted provision. And that's a part of the law. It's not, the law doesn't say it's resisting arrest. It's resisting arrest, but you get more into detail. It's failure to ID. So it's not resisting to ID, it's failure to ID. So and this is all on a secondary charge, of course. So there's kind of a difference, a little like specification with the crime. It's resisting arrest, but failure to ID, not resisting arrest, resisting ID. So it's something to think about. All right, they have to prove failure, intention to fail on ID. And I think we need to establish, now I'm getting into more legal arguments than I care to do, but it's weighing on my head heavily. We need to establish, and that's where police policies really come in handy, is what are the alternatives to identifying somebody. All right, there's the plastic ID, there's verbal, there's fingerprints, and I guess you could do DNA depending on the severity. Like, how important was it to identify me? Like, was this crime so heinous that I needed to give a blood sample, or just I needed to give DNA so they could match me to some evidence? It's statutes on being detained, emphasis. Oh, they never said you were being detained. Oh yeah, the detainment wasn't clear either. I just wasn't I wasn't sure when the consensual conversation part ended, because I was thinking Have you tried approach? No, you can't approach the news media, First Amendment auditors. No. Thank you for the donation, bark at a bowl. It's this when you're a defendant, you don't rush to the media. You shouldn't do that. The mainstream media, the lawyers don't like that when you do that. I'm not doing that. I don't do that. If they did approach me, maybe I'd talk whatever. I talk like this, but I'm not seeking out media. Just like I'm not seeking out lawyers. I'm not putting that kind of effort in. Thank you, Chevy. I'm not putting in that kind of effort. I put my focus on learning the law as best I can. Yeah, ACLU is too busy protecting transgender rights in Louisiana. So I did look at their Twitter to see that. Every state has their own ACLU chapter. So they're focused on transgender rights. So I don't want to get involved with that. Try to claim I'm transgender. Let that stand as is. There's other groups of people that form and groups fall apart. Groups come together, groups come up and fall apart. Look at when people die, or just there's a personality issues. It's like look at Schrodinger's cat's old channel. He died a few months ago now. Schrodinger cat. He formed a large group. All right, he was quite successful in his approach to
two camps there that have been totally destroyed, busted in, and inside bullets ripped up, ripped out. One owner is on scene, the other one is.
Man, it's breaking up too much.
She advised you go turn left.
He brought people together, and then he dies, and it falls apart. It happens all the time. Easy come, easy go. So it's sad when that type of stuff happen. And I think about Schrodinger cats every so often, because he didn't have a chance to troll me for this Natchitoches arrest. He died like shortly within a couple of weeks after I got arrested. So he didn't even have a chance to troll me, which it's unfortunate. He was able to troll me about my Monroe arrest and other things. And then let's see, In Focus says submitted sworn statement. Oh, okay, yeah.
Highway 120 just off the highway 6. They were up to a motorcycle accident. It was involving a Travis Champagne. He'd already got picked up by a Bobby Buffkin and was headed to Sabine Parish at this time. But 1021 further. It's going to be on Highway 120, not far off the Highway 6.
There's higher fatalities with motorcycle accidents. So, yeah, groups come together and fall apart. And with my arrest, I have a lot more content, bringing a group together more to listen to my plight in this particular period of time, talking about every factor as that I could think of, every issue coming up with my criminal case. I'm trying to bring a kind of a group together over my arrest. And then when it's over with, that's it. My channel should hopefully go silent again. Hopefully this channel will go silent, and I could pick up on my travel channels more, and actually do things that I prefer doing, that don't put so much stress on my heart, put stress on my health, I guess my mental health, my physical health. All this kind of stress has worn on me. All right, I can't lie about that. This this it's like it's just a heavy burden, in large part because I'm not a lawyer, all right, and I want to learn, but the learning is like I'm dropped off by helicopter into the middle of the jungle, and I have to find the enemy. I have to learn the area, find the enemy, and it's there's a lot of stress involved with that because mistakes are very costly with this type of learning. All right, being dropped off in the middle of the jungle and told to find an enemy that does to shoot the bad guy to defeat the other side. I dropped into the jungle, the swamps, and suddenly I have to fight the locals over this ID issue, and the stress has been just trying to bring in all this new information. It took me a while to just learn the cops' names at the start. I was trying to, like you could hear in the video, I was trying to repeat the names out loud, because repeating it out loud helps. Sure, I'll accept Christ. Repeating names, that's like fundamental. I enforce my Fourth Amendment rights, and also I learn the cops' names and make some small talk if it's possible. But learning the cops' names becomes much more important when I'm getting arrested, when it looks serious, like I'm about to get arrested. So I go through that effort, and it involves repeating the names. Yeah, I'm 46. I'm an old guy. Thank you, Chevy. I appreciate that. It's not always easy. Now I know them. La Quinta Favors, Jordan Davis, and Thurman Miller. I can rattle those names off easy compared to before. I was having a lot of difficulty, and these are cops that refuse to repeat their names, at least with Davis. And you know what's interesting, just as a background, like I was coming from Bethany, Missouri, with that name Harris in my head when he arrested me, and I sat in jail for 24 hours. And I kept defaulting to calling Davis Harris. There's enough similarity there where I actually said Harris when I was talking to Lieutenant Williams, the internal affairs investigator, and she was like, Harris, who's that? I'm like, it's old. That was an old arrest, the last arrest. So it's their names, and you want to learn names. It's like if you're good with learning names, you can really get involved with the community much more effectively when you can actually name the people and ask specifically about or for specific people. You really they really warm up to you when you show that you know who they are, when you know their names. That's really a helpful thing. It's not easy to do, but it's really a helpful thing. You never identify a judge or prosecutor, you are assuming and presuming, okay, well, yeah, I'll presume that. So it's helpful to learn names. It's not easy. And I sat in jail, and like I was repeating the name. They wouldn't even give me a pen and paper in jail. So I had to just kind of sing the names as best I could, repeat the names, get familiar, because I learned the cops' names as soon as I can. When I know I'm going to jail, I repeat their names out loud to get familiar with them. And when I go to jail, when I start talking to people, I start asking around. I say, did Officer Harris arrest you? And a lot of people don't know who arrested them. They're like, I don't know who arrested me. And that's, I mean, to me, it's very important to remember their names, remember the cops' names. And I later learned that it was Officer Davis who arrested the black guy the day before in the library. And that was I like confirmed that in a couple of different ways. Talking to the black guy, he said he walked out of the bathroom. They asked for his ID, and then I think he gave it, and then they found that he had an arrest warrant, so they took him to jail the day before me. But then on the body cam, Officer Davis, as he was walking by that bathroom, he said, "I've been here." He said, "I had to do this just yesterday." He was like, he whispered to himself. Officer Davis said, we were here yesterday." And he said that as he was walking by the bathroom. So I think he was saying that like as just kind of a out loud thought about that. So that
trees, no structures endangered. SD4 has been paged. 7407 John Watley Road.
A grass fire spread to the trees. So yeah, trial dates April 11th. That'd be funny if it was on April 1st or something. April 1st. April Fool's trial. So I had one canceled trial. I guess I would say that I took the I was the one who made the decision to cancel my March 23rd trial, because the judge and the prosecutor were ready to go. But I'm like, give me time. I want to get familiar with this new evidence that the prosecutor brought. So really, the trial would have already happened on the 23rd. It was on me to have delayed that. I feel like I'm delaying the inevitable failure. But I mean, in this period of time, it's not any fun. Have you contacted the ACLU Louisiana? Yeah, I looked at their Twitter, and it looks like their priorities are protecting the transsexuals. So I don't want to get in the way of that. I don't want to pull attention away from what they feel is most important in Louisiana. Whose rights are more important in Louisiana? That's the transsexuals, according to the ACLU. So they arrested 2 people over 2 days at this library, and we both shared the same cell. But I gotta say, this black guy was not easy to talk to. All right, he was not a easy guy to get along with. We did not get along, really. We didn't fight. We're about the same age. He was 1 year younger than me, because he showed me some of his paperwork. But it's one of those situations where it's like we would normally not hang out, but we were stuck together. Yeah. In Louisiana, the transsexuals have the priority, and because the ACLU does their studies and tries to figure out who needs the most protection in the state, who's the most vulnerable, and they may do surveys, or it could be personal preferences, but they made their choice.
There's a couple.
So
Why don't you stand by for now?
all right. So let me go back to the title of this video. I need recognition. I need to get my name out there, my face out there, to help cops, pretty much. I've already emailed all of the sheriffs as best I could. No responses. But there's a website where you get all of the sheriffs' emails, and I just kind of email them. It's 98% white people. There's only out of 40, 50 sheriffs. There's only 2 black people, 2 black sheriffs in the whole state, because everyone had a picture profile and then the email. So that's a step in the direction of trying to get recognized in the state with the police. It's a defense. It's a defense that I would turn back to. I'd say, well, I reached out to all the sheriffs now to let them know that I'm in the state and I might pass through their jurisdiction. All right. I would like to do a little bit more though to get my name out there. I'm like, I got to be kind of a politician with the cops. Yeah, that's there is not a man with the name Judge Owsley. Okay, so I, it's an effort that everybody needs to do, but we're competing against each other. So it's in my best interest to get my name out there with the cops. But if anybody, I guess if anybody wants any help, I mean, we could just we could try to help each other spread our names around Louisiana about who we are, so the cops could be like prepared for us. They'll already, the cops already had their opportunity to do their research on us, and so then if there's any contact made, if any other librarians have to call and say that there's a weird guy here, when the cops show up, they should already have some of their homework done already. I want to help these cops with their homework a little bit better, and not be put at such a disadvantage. Because reaching your pockets, I mean, even Officer Davis warned me when I put my hand in my fanny pack to get my GoPro 7 out. He's like, keep your hands out of your pockets. And I was just like, yeah, here it is. It's just a little camera. So, I mean, he jumped on that. He jumped on when I asked to go to the bathroom while I was chained, while I was at the police station. After about an hour, I asked to go to the bathroom. I go in and shut the door, and I locked the door, and then he just freaks out. He's like, open the door, and he pounded on it a little bit, and I mean, I quickly unlocked it, but he walked away to go like look for a key or something. But then after a few seconds, he came back and he saw the door was kind of open. But he makes some he doesn't have foresight on a lot of outcomes. He can't like foresee outcomes. They have to play out before him. But I mean, that's for a lot of people. It's just it is, you know, he's how old is he? He's like in his mid-20s or something. He doesn't know, but still, it's there's bad situations you can get into with a person who just has no foresight. They can't step outside of themselves and have self-awareness, have awareness of their environment. I mean, when cops come to a library for a bar fight on day shift, all right, this isn't night shift at a bar, an actual bar. This is on day shift, where the cops are in public view in the daylight with people who are naturally, normally awake and out and around the town doing in their normal, regular schedules on day shift. Day shift is a political shift. All right, there's a certain kind of politics that goes on day shift. You want your best officers on day shift. You want your sharpest officers on day shift. All right, you put the idiots on night shift, the ones who want to look for fights, because I mean, they're dealing with on night shift. They're dealing with the drunks, and drunks have can have some memory issues. So lumping up some drunks, beating up some drunks may not work, may not be so bad. They might be caught on video, but I mean, a lot of times videos seem to point in the wrong direction, or they get accidentally dropped. The cop is like chasing after somebody and is about to make a real serious encounter with somebody, a violent, possibly deadly encounter. They could just be like, oops, my body cam fell off. We went around my body cam fell off. We went around a corner out of the car's dashboard camera view, and that's it. All right. There's a cop that's driving kind of slow. It doesn't look like he's going to come up here. but yeah, once again, I'm looking for recognition. So if he came up here, I'd want to let him know who I am. But yeah, some it's kind of rare, but I mean, some have come up to this little spot, and I hope nobody has swatted me. I need to seek a valid state-issued driver's license. Okay, so yeah, the theme of this video is I want to create recognition in a state that's a stop and ID state. That's something I'm trying to that's a conclusion that I'm coming to with this. Is it seems like I have to be more forward thinking in the stop and ID states and announce my presence ahead of time so that I can have a defense against having this reasonable suspicion for cops to approach me and then them gaining probable cause over my ID and locking me up for 4 days in jail. All right. Yeah, so I could I wanted to announce myself before I get there and then still be me, all right, with my ID. I don't want to reach for ID for cops. I've had guns pulled on me before, so I don't want to reach for anything. That's a bad policy. That's a deadly policy to have. And it works in the cops' favor, so they don't see any problems with it. If it doesn't hurt me, then it's not if it doesn't hurt the cops, then what's the problem? The problem is for the victim. But yeah, so the cop turned around. It's just, yeah, whatever. So quiet your heart and mind, see God. Yeah, I'm rambling quite a bit. I kind of have bloodshot eyes. It's the heat, but I think it's just the talking too. I've probably talked enough. I'm just rambling, so this helps pass the time. It's getting darker. Let's see. I'll stop it here. I thank you for visiting, and yeah, just stay tuned, I guess, for the outcome.